Hello, Frizz fans. Here we are with quarter two of the casual gameplay. And while this gets started, you can see they're about to start quarter two. We'll catch you back up. You can see the score there. Cody has 8, Josh has 11. Both players are back at 0 penalties. So once again, after seeing quarter one, why don't you go ahead and make a prediction in the comments who you think is going to win this game? It's looking more and more like Josh.
You know, like we said before, it's been a while for both of us playing, but you'll see this quarter and like last quarter, like we're pretty not lazy necessarily. It's just it's not as intense as normal games. We're just kind of getting back in the groove. Huh?
Not quite in Frizz shape.
No, not quite in Frizz shape. And it was a good day to play, though. I mean, it was a great day. It was like mid-60s, low 60s. It was perfect. So
it was a great temperature. The only thing that would have made it better was if we were playing on a turf field to kind of ease the fatigue of skipping the disc back and forth.
I would say that field's not too bad. It's pretty low cut. So it doesn't put a lot of strain on you, but it is a lot easier on turf. So
easy catch right there, unless he fumbled it. Oh no, he got it. Oh, That was a point.
That was a nice throw.
You can tell he was reluctant to dive from all that diving he did in the first quarter. Toss. I think that was a penalty. You see he's throwing his head back.
Yeah, it was.
So it looks like it bounced just outside the skip zone. Oh, there's a little chicken wing hop. Oh, he makes a quick throw. Gets right past him. Ooh, they're calling that one a roll.
Yeah, so there you see, like it can bounce in that opponent penalty zone, but if it just rolls across the pitch line or skids across the pitch line, no good. Dead frisbee.
Yeah, and I'll go back so they can see that again real quick. So you can watch this throw. He's about to throw it right here. I will say from the video, that thing was going by pretty fast. It was hard to tell in the video if that was a skip or a roll.
And that it kind of goes back to the, your rules with, ultimate, player calls on the field. Typically goes to the closest one, makes the call, and they can definitely see if it's a roll or a skid from both ends. Usually you can see that pretty well.
Oh, I think I actually remember this one. This is where it rolled and it kind of hit me in a rough spot. That's why I'm crouching there.
Yeah, I should call a penalty there. Delay a game.
I think there's I don't know if you call it a medical excuse, but a potential injury excuse there.
So I will say, playing this game, and I'm sure different frisbee players, ultimate players, like you've had this happen before. The frisbee hits you right on the fingertips. You have that bone bruise, I guess, or that sting, and it hurts to press on your fingertips. That does happen a fair amount. So
yeah, and you can see in this game, there's
that's a skid. That's clearly a skid.
It might have been a penalty.
Yeah, I just is that a new penalty for me? I don't know what happened there.
That was a penalty. So you must have hit right on the line instead of the skip zone. You want to go back and look at that?
Nice.
Or are you good?
Yeah, that's fine. We'll keep going. You want to see my mistakes over and over again.
Like that one?
Oh, I tried. So it came up.
So I'm going to pause it here because that's a great example of you made contact in the score zone and the frisbee landed outside the score zone, but that's still a point because
that's a good example. Let's see it one more time.
Yeah, I'll roll it back. All right, so here I am about to make the throw. You can see it's going to skip. It's a perfectly legal throw. It's going to make contact with Josh initially in the score zone, but he's going to bobble it. And even though the frisbee lands outside the score zone,
and look where I'm defensively at. Like I am like
terrible position,
the very corner. Like you could have probably thrown it down the opposite side and been easy.
Yeah, I actually threw it a pretty nice throw for you. We'll see.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm easing back into position, realize, no, and it comes up. I get it, but then it falls out. But yeah, that's a score. I made contact with the frisbee while still in my score zone, even though it popped out. That's on me.
Yeah, there's a nice catch there. Easy throw. Just trying to make a run for it. Looks like that's a point though.
Beautiful. You can't do anything about that.
It's probably because you gave him that easy throw. He had plenty of time to kind of set up for a nice power shot to the corner. Oh, and he returns one.
Yep. Sometimes you just pick and choose your battles. When they make a perfect throw like that.
Oh,
that's an error.
That hit him in a bad spot. Hit him right in the hands. Oh, a sidearm.
Easy.
That's a penalty. That bounced.
What I do?
I can go back. You said you didn't want to see your mistakes, but I'll go back. I mean, that one went past my pitch line. All right. So this is me throwing it. You catch it. Here's your throw.
Oh yeah.
That hit my pitch line.
That's clearly. It was so bad that I thought surely I bounced or skipped before I did that.
That went right to you.
God, you're wow.
Oh, that's another penalty.
That one just went straight across.
All right, so here's my penalty shot. I think this is my first penalty shots of the game. You had some in the first quarter. Maybe.
Yes, if you guys pay attention here, Cody on the left is gonna, be able to throw all the way up to the penalty line, and he's gonna get 3 shots in a row, and then one to start off on. That'll start the time again if you have someone keeping time.
And once again, every time we start penalty shots, that's a good time for us to go and get discs. But we've already said this before, but I like to reiterate it every time. You probably want to play with at least 6 discs, so you don't have to run and grab them all the time.
Absolutely. Yep.
First shot. Oh, that's a point, I believe. Now, that's what we call a top-down throw or an upside-down throw. You'll hear us say it both ways, but you basically throw it like a backhand, except you have the disc flipped over, and it makes a pretty gnarly hop that's pretty tough to catch.
Yeah, when it comes down, like it can stay pretty low to the ground if you do it right. Like that one popped up a little bit, but sometimes they can stay low to the ground, and they are humming, and then they're vertical. So
I would say even when they do hop up pretty high, they're still tough to catch just because you're catching them vertically. So it's just not what you're used to.
You're catching it vertically, and it's rotating like downward, so it's tough to catch, especially with one hand. They're tough to catch.
Yeah, maybe we can.
And there's one to start off on.
Maybe we can get some footage of some top-down throws coming towards you. Like if we had.
Oh, you didn't catch that, did you? Nope.
I don't think so. He's getting up really slow. He's not. I'm not excited.
That's a lay of shame. That's where you don't get back up. I will say, like, as far as frisbees go, you kind of if you were to play like probably once a week with the same frisbee or frisbees, like you're gonna eat them up pretty quick, especially on turf. They get beat up quite a bit.
Or if you're playing on a field that's a little rocky or hard.
Yeah, and then they get beat up a little bit. They can start warping because they're hitting, they're bound or they're skipping so much. So you can really go through frisbees quite a bit, as opposed to like other frisbee sports.
There's a skid. Oh, what was that?
Ooh.
Oh. Okay, so technically, I remember this when we were playing. We did this technically not according to the rules, but you were not ready when I threw the throw. I'm gonna pause it and explain what happened. You weren't ready when I threw the disc, and I don't have to wait for you to be ready.
Yeah, if I'm in my respective score zone and you're in the respective score zone with your frisbee in hand, like you're like they're ready. So,
and technically, I don't even have to wait for you to be in your respective score zone, assuming you're not going and getting a disc. Like it's obvious, like if you're going to go get a disc, you wait for them. But if they like dove outside the score zone and like there's really not really a time where they should be outside their score zone because they have to make their throws from within the score zone. But if for some reason he makes his throw and runs out of his score zone and he's not going to gather discs, you can.
So that I think that's a good example because that does happen. Like you're running up and making a throw, you may ease across that pitch line or that penalty line a little bit, and then you got to get back in your score zone.
Yeah. So, but technically, what happened here, I didn't have to wait for him. And then I think I realized he wasn't ready and it threw me off a little bit. So I yanked the Frisbee, to be honest. And then he was courteous enough. He threw the disc back to me and we restarted gameplay. But technically that would have been a penalty on me because it would have been a completely legal throw. Or it wouldn't have been a legal throw. But, I don't have to wait for him to get ready. So there was really no reason for him to return the disc. It was a throw that counted, and it should have been a penalty. But in this little casual game, we didn't count that. Just to clarify. And I think we're pretty much at the end of the quarter. I'll play out the rest, but we're discussing score and penalties here too. So yeah, we're making confirmations on the score and the penalty count. And then he makes the throw. That's a penalty. Maybe. Oh,
That's a score. I bounced. I skipped before that.
that was a point. I want to kind of go back and look at it because it may be a little confusing for the viewers. All right, so you're about to make your catch and then your throw. Oh yeah, that hit the long line, so that counts as inside the skip zone, and that definitely stayed in the score zone.
Yep. So if you hit the side lines, that's in the field of play.
So let's look at this. The score is now 16-12, and I have 2 penalties, and you have 0. And at the beginning of this quarter, it was 8-11. So 9, 10, 11, a 3-point spread.
Not a lot of action that quarter.
And now it's a 4-point spread. So, man, I'm losing the lead.
Penalties will reset during the next quarter. So,
yeah. So if you're getting close to the end of the second quarter, you can be a little bit more risky with your throws. Just because your penalties are going to reset at halftime anyway.
Yep.
So that's quarter 2. We'll come back at you with quarter 3.